Hi there, my fencing teists. The next position is going to be the only one that doesn't fit into classical point-in-line thrust-based fencing. This is a stance that's more found in broadsword, longsword, and arming sword treatises. So this is much more of a, I'd say, three-dimensional stance, kind of like Angolo Recto, but it's really just about ease of lower body movement. It's the walking stance, and the way you get into it is you take a step. Like you're walking, you're essentially just taking steps, walking forward, you stop, and that's your stance. You just sink into it a little. That's your walking stance. It is that simple and it is that difficult with regards to, it's not something that you should think about, but it is something that you do need to have in line with the rest of your form. So you don't normally lope when you walk. That's not something you do unless you have muscular issues. You know, you have a sore leg or sore back. It's not something you normally do. So you want to maintain your walking stance and maintain the straight upward body that you have with your fencing stance. And you're just going to use that natural lower body movement, which granted, because it's so natural, a lot of mistakes may come out. You might shortchange, or you might be more hesitant to move because that's how your body wants to behave naturally. It wants to be a little more frenetic. When you have a dedicated stance or something that you are more, you have to practice that, you can control how you move in it so you don't have those natural responses because you're so focused on keeping your form. That is the biggest disadvantage of the walking stance, and I would say that it's also one of the best advantages in that you don't have to think about it in either case. That just brings its own problems. So I'm throwing this in more for completionist purposes. This is found in the Walpurgis Fecht book. It's found in many forms of longsword, especially the English longsword that I've studied, English broadsword. I'm not necessarily going to stress it. I do think that the other stances are something that you should spend more time on, but I do want you to know that it's there and it may come in. The biggest critique about it is don't take a step directly point in line so that you're tight roping. You want to keep some natural space between your hips, like you're taking natural steps. If you just don't think about it and then you stop and sink into that position, that will be your walking stance. So not a lot to it, but I want it there just for completionist purposes. And with luck, I'll show you some of the applications of it in the future. All right, till then, keep your teacups empty.